This week on Art in the Air features multi-Grammy award-winning guitarist, vocalist Clay Ross, discussing his new group, American Patchwork Quartet, and their debut album of the same title. Next, the founder of the new artist group, The Art Table, Laura Thiel, also discusses her photography. Our spotlights on the 2025 For the Love of Art Fair, coming to South Bend Century Center, February 1st and 2nd.
Express yourself through art and show the world your heart. Express yourself through art and show the world your heart. You're in the know with Esther and Larry. Art on the air today. Stay in the know with Larry and Esther. Art on the air our way. Express yourself through art and show the world your heart. Express yourself through art and show the world your heart.
Welcome. You're listening to Art on the Air on Lakeshore Public Media, 89.1 FM, WVLP 103.1 FM, our weekly program covering the arts and arts events throughout Northwest Indiana and beyond. I'm Larry Breckner of New Perspectives Photography, right alongside here with Esther Golden of The Nest in Michigan City.
Aloha, everyone.
We're your hosts for Art on the Air. Art on the Air is supported by an Indiana Arts Commission Arts Project Grant, South Shore Arts, and the National Endowment for the Arts. Art on the Air is heard every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Lakeshore Public Media, 89.1 FM, also streaming live at lakeshorepublicmedia.org, and is available on Lakeshore Public Media's website as a podcast. Also heard on Friday at 11 a.m. and Monday at 5 p.m. on WVLP 103.1 FM, streaming live at wvlp.org. Our spotlight interviews are also heard Wednesdays on Lakeshore Public Media. Information about Art on the Air is available at our website, breck.com/AOTA. That includes a complete show archive, spotlight interviews, plus our show is available on multiple podcast platforms, including NPR One. Please like us on Facebook, Art on the Air, WVLP, for information about upcoming shows and interviews. I'd like to welcome back to Art in the Air Spotlight. She's been with us for several times now, and back for the 2025 For the Love of Art Fair, which is February 1st and 2nd, and of course it'll be at the South Bend Century Center. I was there last year to see all the wonderful artists, and of course, if you're listening to the show, we have a bunch of them being feature interviews, and you can hear that. Shireen Cline is the CEO of the event, been doing it for quite a few years, and she's back to tell us all about it. Shireen, welcome back to Art in the Air Spotlight.
Thank you so much. 12 years.
Yes.
Can you believe it? It's actually been 12 years. But it's our 11th year. Yeah. You got to forget about that COVID year. But
and it started in Elkhart, right?
Correct. Started in Elkhart. We were there for 3 years and moved on to South Bend. And we are completely happy with being in the heart of downtown at the South Bend Century Center.
Well, what's nice is you're at the South Bend Art Museum, and then you have if you stay in the hotel, you have that bridgeway, so it's a very convenient to go, especially for your artists, but, people want to spend a night and then go do that. It's a great way to do that.
And if they win a gift from one of our drawings, then you can walk to one of the restaurants that are locally close, too.
For our audience that doesn't know, tell us about how many people are in it, kind of the circumstances of how this works differently than a regular art fair.
Well, we have 48 fine artists, and it's a combination of the artists who do the art fair circuit in the summer, outdoor shows, and portion of them are selectively, they are in galleries, and they only do indoor shows. And I'm so happy to announce this year that I can actually call it an international show because, as you know, we have from Italian, Brazilian, we have Eugenio, and then we also have someone from Venezuela, Poland, 3 from Mexico, Jamaica.
Wow.
So the show really has gone international.
We all live here in the United States now, but announce it as an international art fair.
So Shireen, does everybody have an equal chance to go in, or are some people grandfathered in every year? How much room are there for new artists or emerging artists?
So yes, every year the artists that are with me will get a chance first to apply. So they're the first ones that get the application. And then from there, I visit 3 very large art fairs in the summer and a gallery event to recruit artists. And so,
because I noticed this year, I don't know if it's her first year, but Jennifer Meeker is like a wonderful ceramic artist. And I noticed she was on your...
She has been on my radar forever. And so she has contacts with artist in South Bend, so she'll be staying the night with in South Bend with her friends that are also part of the show. So that makes it nice and affordable.
She's
for
a
her.
wonderful person. So I have a question about what does it mean to be the honorary artist? What does it entail for the artist?
Well, I personally choose the honorary artist, and they have to have their work has to be magnificent. And then they have to have a great personality, and they have to bring to the show a love for the art. So you know how sometimes people get like they're just in it. They kind of get stuck and they're tired and they're making the same stuff over and over and they're not really pushing the bar to the next limit. Those are the people that sometimes they lose their spark and they lose their love and they're just kind of stuck doing what they've been used to all their life as being an artist. But like with the artists that I choose, they still bring that great energy to my show.
Right. The wanting to experiment and learn more and keep growing.
And so with Kai, she's won so many awards, just one after another. And then also I just remember, talking with her when Brabant was there in Michigan City, and they were all part of the I can't remember what it was called, FETA?
Franklin Arts District.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember meeting her in passing, and she was always there for First Friday.
All of the artists are very enthusiastic. I know when I attended last year and I got to meet them, and we actually picked up some more. But you also have music there. I know we interviewed last year the electric cellist there. But what kind of music can we expect?
Well, Mike D. Hayes does return.
Okay.
And so he's on the electric cello. He'll be there both Saturday and Sunday. I also just spoke with Marco. Not sure how you pronounce it.
Del Rio, yes.
Yeah, he'll be back. And I asked if his girlfriend would accompany him.
Danielle, yes.
And then we have the Sand Rabbits on Sunday. And I still have one more musician. So getting back to, for the Love of Art Fair is our 11th year at the South Bend Century Center, happening February 1st and 2nd. The time for Saturday is from 10 to 5. And on Sunday, it is 11 to 4. It will have live music, prizes, and 48 fine artists, regional artists, as far as Kentucky, Missouri, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and of course, our local artists from South Bend.
Well, that's great. So for the Love of Art Fair, February 1st and 2nd, 2025, and you can find out information for theloveofartfair.com. That's Shireen Cline, the CEO of it. Thank you so much for coming on Art in the Air Spotlight and sharing the wonderful For the Love of Art Fair.
Thank you so much, Esther and Larry. Look forward to seeing you at the show.
Oh, most definitely. It's so exciting. Congratulations, Shireen.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank you for listening to Art on the Air. Our show relies on the support of not only our show underwriters, but also our listeners who make donations to this station. Your support of this station will ensure Art on the Air may continue bringing you the best of the arts and culture programming for Northwest Indiana and beyond. If Art on the Air is important to you, please consider supporting this station with a one-time contribution or even making an ongoing sustaining contribution. For information on how to make a contribution, go to this station's website or our show website, breck.com/AOTA. And thank you. Art on the Air Spotlight and the complete one-hour program on Lakeshore Public Media is brought to you by McCauley Real Estate in Valparaiso, Olga Patrician, Senior Broker. And as a reminder, if you'd like to have your event on Art on the Air Spotlight or have a longer feature interview, email us at aota@breck.com. That's aota@breck.com.
Hey, this is Bela Fleck, and you're listening to Art on the Air on Lakeshore Public Media, 89.1 FM, and on WVLP 103.1 FM.
We are pleased to welcome Clay Ross to Art on the Air. Creator, guitarist, vocalist, producer, two-time Grammy Award winner, founder of Ranky Tanky, American Patchwork Quartet, and Matuto Music. Clay has toured worldwide as a cultural ambassador through multiple collaborations with the U.S. State Department. He is also the founder of Compose Your Career, an online course. The American Patchwork Quartet was recently Grammy nominated for Best Folk Album 2025. Plus, on June 18th of 2024, APQ performed on the historic stage of the Grand Ole Opry. APQ consists of Yasushi Nakamura on bass, Clarence Penn on drums, Falu Shah vocals, and Clay on guitar and vocals. It is a gorgeous album. Thank you for joining us on Art on the Air. Aloha and welcome, Clay. I really appreciated being immersed in your musical world. Very wonderful meeting you.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thank you for listening.
You know, I have a quick question. So is your image, a photograph, on the wall of the Grand Ole Opry? Do you know? No?
Oh, I think definitely not.
Not yet?
I think you probably need to be a member, of the Grand Ole Opry. And while they do, bring a lot of new groups in to have Opry debuts, and then some people even go on to become regulars on the Grand Ole Opry, but they aren't, official members of the Opry. So I think they reserve those types of accolades for the members. But hey, maybe so one day.
Maybe someday.
Dare to dream. Yeah, if you asked me 15 years ago that I'd have 2 Grammy Awards and another nomination, I wouldn't have believed you. So anything can happen.
That's fantastic. Well, Clay, our audience always wants to know about the background and I call it the origin story of our guests. And I tee it off by saying, how you get from where you were to where you're now. So tell us all about Clay.
Yeah, well, I was born in Anderson, South Carolina. I, kind of did not come from a musical family, which is I'm learning. It's kind of cool in a way because among my peers, a lot of them had a lot of musical expectations sort of forced on them. And for me, music was always just an act of will. It was something I always wanted to do, something I loved to do, and I was really self-motivated to do it. And I've sort of remained that way. So I've been lucky that I've been able to just sort of carve out my own vision of what a music career could look like. And I've just followed it one step at a time. That led me to Charleston, South Carolina, where I went to college and met my future bandmates that would become part of the Grammy Award-winning group Ranky Tanky. All of my bandmates in that group are descendants of Gullah culture, and they are just some of the most phenomenal musicians I've ever heard and had heard at that time. And they really adopted me into their musical world and exposed me to jazz and all kinds of their church traditions and this regional music of my home state of South Carolina. And I took all that energy and enthusiasm with me all the way to New York City, really initially to pursue a career in jazz, but I got sidetracked when the first professional job that I got as a touring artist was with a world-renowned percussionist by the name of Ciro Baptista. And Ciro brought me into his group and exposed me to this whole world of Afro-Brazilian rhythms and helped me to go to Brazil for the first time. And I really just got absorbed in that music, founded a group called Matuto, trying to bridge my two worlds, my South Carolina upbringing with my love of Brazilian music. And we called that music Brazilian bluegrass. And we toured for 10 years doing that. And sort of that led me back home to want to do the music of my South Carolina culture. And so I reconnected with my bandmates in Ranky Tanky. We formed Ranky Tanky, and that group has had the most success, of the groups that I've done. And we won 2 Grammy Awards with Ranky Tanky. Our album, Good Time, won in 2019, Best Regional Roots Music Album. And then in 2022, our live album, Live from New Orleans Jazz Festival, won the Grammy Award for Best Regional Roots. And, while I was working on Ranky Tanky, I was learning from the folk archives of Alan Lomax and other ethnomusicologists, trying to dig into just songs of American origin and American folk songs. And while we were doing that project, I was specifically looking for Gullah songs. Gullah is the name of the culture and music that we champion in Ranky Tanky. But I happened to come across all of these other amazing songs, some of which I knew well as a kid and heard growing up in the South, but others that I was less familiar with, but I really fell in love with. And I had this little folder that I was collecting these songs. And at the time, I was a teaching artist at Carnegie Hall, and I met Falguni Shaw, and her voice just absolutely blew my mind. She was one of my favorite artists in the very talented group of artists that worked at Carnegie Hall. And I asked her one day if she would like to try to sing one of these songs. And she sang Shenandoah. And I said, oh my God, this is something really special. We should build a project on this idea. And we decided that whether my ancestors came here hundreds of years ago or Falu came here 20 years ago, we are both American and we are both a part of the American patchwork. So we set out to do this new group, American Patchwork Quartet. We recruited our amazing friends, Yasushi Nakamura and Clarence Penn, just looking for the best rhythm section we could find that also brought diversity and representation to the stage. And everyone in the group loved the idea. And the mission was, we aren't going to do these songs the way that we're hearing them. We're not going to do the songs the way the source material did them. We're going to take this inspiration and we're going to take the truth at the core of these songs, and we're going to adapt them to our own voices. And so everybody rose to that challenge, and I can't believe that I get to sit here today and share that we have a Grammy-nominated album. It's just unbelievable. So grateful to be not too long of a version.
Well, we're bombarded with, so many images. Well, actually, so much of everything that the pace of these time-honored songs, along with APQ's musical and vocal arrangements, really add such a lovely complexity to these like traditional songs. They're brilliant. And I love the way Falu cradles her voice and song with her hands. I mean, it is it's like a performance all on its own, watching her truly embrace all the nuances. I think we should listen to Shenandoah.
Let's take a listen to it. This is from the American Patchwork Quartet, their first album together. This is Shenandoah.
Ke
That was Shenandoah, the American Patchwork Quartet, with our guest today, Clay Ross, who I guess you're the founder or coordinator, bringing all the people in this group together. And besides that, there's such great music on this whole album that's a wide variety of sounds and everything. Also nominated for a Grammy in the Best Folk Album this year.
So as a band, you do all these traditional music. Has the band ever considered, or have you written any original lyrics in the spirit of? Or do you have plans to do so as a group?
Yeah, that's certainly on the table. Falu and I, our initial work together was writing original songs in a project at Carnegie Hall called the Lullaby Project, where we actually write songs with expecting mothers. And, so it's very creative, very much writing songs from scratch. So that's a big part of what we've already done together a lot. And we did adapt some of the lyrics that we use on American Patchwork Quartet's arrangements of songs. We brought some of our own lyrics into the fold, and I would say that that's certainly possible, especially as a follow-up, maybe to what we did initially. So yeah, we'll see. That would be cool.
As this being your first album together, is this going to be an ongoing project with the American Patchwork Quartet? I mean, you're involved with Rinky Tinky, but do you have plans for album number 2?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that we have that opportunity. And, I will say that, everyone out there who supports live music, and I'll say this not just for us, but for all the artists that you love, it's very difficult these days to invest in making a full album of music. The return on that investment is not always there,
That's
and
true.
a lot of the artists that you know and love they're out there touring, and they're primarily making a living playing concerts and shows, and you're wondering, like, where's that next album? Why haven't they made another one? Well, maybe they aren't that motivated to make
Right.
another one, because with everyone streaming their music and that just amounting to pennies on the dollar, people are very focused on their live performances. And as we are, we're focused on our live performances. Our show is the thing that sustains us, and the thing that we are, that's our primary offering. So we're grateful to be out there on the road, playing concerts and performing for live audiences.
Except Clay, I noticed there were no Midwest tour dates.
Well, we have some. We'll be in Illinois, I think, or Indiana. Somebody just called me from Indiana. We have to advance the show, so we're coming out that way, and there will be more. Don't worry. We definitely intend to continue to tour, and I do hope we will make another album. What shape that takes, or how we present it, we'll see. But we actually were very fortunate to make this initial album through the support of a grant that we won. We won a grant through an organization called South Arts, and I will encourage all artists out there who are listening to just keep an eye out on grant opportunities. And specifically, there's one that's very special that South Arts does, and I don't know how often they're going to continue to do it, but it's called the Creative Residency Grant. And you can find out more about it through southarts.org. And they will, if you're lucky to be selected for your project, it can help fund even making an album. So
A question.
There are ways.
Yes.
A question about your Grammy experience. I assume you went to the Grammy Awards for the first time when you were nominated. Did you?
I did. Yeah, I've been really lucky. That the 2 times that I've been nominated, we ended up winning, and I'm grateful for that, because you definitely feel the pressure of the moment. In my case, everybody in my family wanted to come, so everybody came, so everybody came, and everybody's there, and it was a thrill. I mean, it's such a thrill, and it's just an exciting moment. You work so hard on the music and touring and making things happen, and it is a big celebration of all the things we love in music. So
in this day and age, that's a lot more expensive. My first Grammys were the 24th Grammy Awards, and it was $50 for a member ticket to that and the party. And I tell people that now, and they can't believe it. We don't even get me started. I don't know if you guys know. We could talk about it, but there's a big issue with a lot of artists are really feeling the pinch of, they charge for the nominees. They don't even give you a +1 ticket anymore. Oh my gosh.
The nominees are, if you want to bring a guest to your Grammy award nomination, it's $1,000 ticket for the guest.
Wow.
It's, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Recording Academy, we should work on that.
Yeah.
It's not equitable. And especially for first-time nominees in these, smaller categories, folk music and most of the other categories, the ones that aren't televised, it's not easy.
That is rough. And, also, and I know this is a little bit off the subject, but the difficulty in voting anymore in both the run-up round and they have so much restrictions. You can vote. I have people across many categories that I like to vote in, and it's like I might listen to their music, but I can only vote in 3 or 4 categories outside the main 5 general categories. I think that's very restrictive.
It is. I mean, I understand. I don't know that part of it bothers me so much, because I do agree that, to maintain a level of integrity in that system, you want to at least do what you can to steer people towards the fields that they are expert in.
Right.
Right.
That sort of makes sense to me, and I don't know how else to do that. I mean, it is unfortunate, because there's always cases where I would like to support projects that might be a little, I'm a person that loves all kinds of music. So
right.
I would like to support classical music, jazz music, world music, and roots music. But yeah, I'm limited to 3 fields. So
that's true. Well, I hate to say it, but we got only about a minute left here, Clay, and we appreciate you coming on and talking about your experience. And maybe at this sometime just down the road here, maybe when album 2 or some other project comes up, we will have you on for an even more extended interview and share some more of your music. But I'll give you the opportunity to tell people how they can find you, like online, information about your group, both your groups and everything. So tell us about how people can find out about you and your groups.
Yeah. Well, my name again is Clay Ross. You can find me at clayross.com, and all my social media stuff is there, and would love to visit with you there. And my main active projects right now are American Patchwork Quartet, and that's americanpatchworkquartet.com. Also Ranky Tanky, and that's just rankytanky.com. And Ranky Tanky has a new album that we just finished recording, so look for that next year. So yeah, looking forward to sharing more music with you all, and grateful for this opportunity to share it on your platform. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. That's Clay Ross from American Patchwork Quartet and all the other things he's involved with. And of course, that's a Grammy nominated in the Best Folk Album category. And if you're a Nearest member, of course, you might want to give that a listen and a consideration. Clay, thank you so much for coming on Art of the Air and sharing your musical journey.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It has been a complete pleasure. Thank you so much for the music.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Larry. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good night, okay?
And here's a bit of American Patchwork Quartet's Wayfaring Stranger.
This is Adam of the Empty Pockets, and you're listening to Art on the Air on Lakeshore Public Media 89.1 FM and on WVLP 103.1 FM.
We would like to welcome Lauren Thiel to Art on the Air. Lauren is a multidisciplinary artist. Her focus is on music and photography. She is also an educator and advocate for community-driven creativity. In the spring of 2023, she founded the Art Table, a collaborative space designed to empower artists by fostering connections, providing support, and offering opportunities for growth. Thank you for joining us on Art on the Air. Aloha and welcome, Lauren. Very nice meeting you.
Very nice meeting you as well. Thank you for having me.
Well, Lauren, we always like our guests to tell us their origin story. I like to say how you got from where you were to where you are now. So tell us all about Lauren.
That is a very, very long story, but I'm going to give it to you in a nutshell.
No, we love long stories. We love long stories. Give us the whole thing.
Okay, so I am from Chicago Heights, Illinois, born and raised. For a very brief moment, I did move to Bradenton, Sarasota, lived there for a few years, came back to the area when I was about 10 years old. I went to a few different schools, from Sauk Village to Chicago Heights to Homewood area. Went to high school at Bloom in Chicago Heights, and that's where I really dove deep into the arts. I did major photography during that time. Everything I can get my hands on, I did. And then I moved to Miami when I was 19 on my own. That didn't work out. It was way too hot.
Why Miami? I know you had Sarasota, but why Miami?
So there's a different story there. So I have two older sisters that I never met before until I was 18. And I finally met them at 18 and I decided to move to Miami to get to know them better. And I lived there for a year to have that time with them. But it was too hot. I remember it being Christmas Eve and it was like 100. And I was like, Mom, I can't do this. There's no snow here. No one wears scarves. It's weird. So I definitely was missing just season.
Tights.
So I came back home and I started working with my stepdad for his financial company. And though I loved it, I did not love it because it wasn't arts. So then I decided to join a metal band. And I was the lead singer of that band for about 4 years. We played a lot of shows in Chicago.
What was the band called?
Further From. We had a manager at the time. It was a really just fun experience overall. And it was very enjoyable. It's definitely a life that I think everyone should at least dive into for at least once, even if it's just an hour, just to see how it is. It definitely changed a lot about me, and I'm very thankful for that experience.
Well, I think it shows in your current photography as well.
It does.
There's
Just that aspect of it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Fun. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then after that, I got out of the band and I worked all over. Ever since I was about 16, I started working for the park districts of Chicago Heights and Homewood Flossmoor. And I did art instructing for the beginning school programs and the after school programs. Then I also worked as a clown on the weekend.
Why not? Yeah.
For birthday parties where I did face painting. And I got to eat at least 5 cakes during the weekend. So I was totally fine with that job.
What was your clown name?
I didn't have a clown name.
Oh.
I told kids to call me.
Missing out on a whole fun part of it.
I know. I told them to call me Miss Boren. And I think I just used that because during instructing time, that's also what I used. So it was just very familiar for me. And I was only 17 when I was doing it. So I didn't really think too hard. I think I was more interested in about the cake during that time. So there's that. And then I was a art director for a adult daycare center during my early 20s while I was going to college for photography and graphic design. So I did that.
So I wanted to know more about elementary school and middle school and your family life during that time. So what kind of arts were you doing then, possibly? And with the moving around with schooling, I know sometimes elementary school art is very basic, but varies from school to school. So what was your artistic life and home life like?
My home life for the arts, my oldest brother was very artistic. He drew very well from a very young age, and that was always a really inspiration to me. He could have gone to do Marvel or just something. He just had this talent about himself. My uncles, my aunts, my mother was an artist. My dad was a woodworker. So we've always had those trades in our family, and singing, dancing. My dad was a really good singer, a great dancer. So it was always just a part of our home life.
What did your mother gravitate toward?
My mother bounced around a lot from different jobs growing up, but they actually, both my parents growing up did live auctioning, and they got into that. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, and then they started my dad would do the woodwork, and then my mom would design. I swear, it's the funniest thing. We used to go camping every weekend. And my parents came up with these Bo Peeps that they used to build, and they would used to build them together, and they would sell them for like $200 a set. Everyone at this campground had Bo Peeps and Sheeps at their campsite. It was just the coolest thing. So we were kind of just always brought up around it, of people constantly being artistic in any sense. So it was really nice just having that. I would always be on the lanai with my dad growing up in Florida, just singing songs, older songs about, when he was in the Army, all the way until, he got out and he was doing barber shop quartet with his brothers. So it was just,
Oh, it sounds so wonderful, really.
It was wonderful. It was we moved around a lot, and we got to see a lot of things, but our family dynamic, it was very strong. So very happy with all of that.
Well, I would like to kind of explore your photography a little bit. Now, we got you through your real young days and coming out. So when you embraced photography, started telling us a little about it, you studied it, and then, what was maybe some of the subject matter you like to deal with? And I always ask photographers their equipment question. Are you a Canon or a Nikon shooter? So
I am a Canon shooter. That is something that was one of my first cameras before I even went to school for photography. And it's just something about the Canon itself. I don't know. I've used Nikon in high school. I've also used it in college. But there was just a different feel for the Canon that I absolutely fell in love with. And it felt always like home to me. And I know that may sound weird or whatever, but I think from Canon users to Nikon users, we probably just both have that feel for the camera, and it feels natural to you to actually use it. You know how to operate it correctly. And once you do get to know your cameras inside and out, they're like your little children at times. So definitely a Canon lover. It shows me, it always gave me more of and I don't know what it is, but it always did like a darker vibe for me. Don't really know how that happened. But
Maybe the word canon.
Maybe the word canon. There was just a vibe for it. And I was like, ooh, yes, that's definitely me. So yeah, the photography is, it started probably when I was about, I say 22. Didn't go to college for it until I was 25. So there was a little gap, and I built quite a portfolio before I actually went into doing digital photography in college.
Right. And so you experienced the film era, you're at the age probably you were in the film era for just a relatively short time.
Very short, yeah.
And so what kind of subjects do you do?
For photography?
Yes.
Yes, I do. I do portraiture. That's like my main. What I've worked on in series that I started very on in about 2013, I started a series called Mother, which finally got its name, I say, a couple of years ago. It started in 2013, so that's 12 years almost. I'm still currently finishing it, but it's something that I started working on out in Gary and at Miller Beach. So, and it went into a whole aspect of my life, really trying to figure out who I was and who I am as a mother, and all the mothers that I've ever had in my life, and how I wanted them to be portrayed. And it came out a lot darker than I anticipated it. It was supposed to be shown in a lighter aspect, but it did.
Motherhood's pretty intense.
It is, and there's a lot that goes into it. And I think it delved more into the raw emotion of how you can feel more in the down moments of motherhood and who you are trying to find yourself back as an individual. And then I also worked on a bathtub series that I worked on for 6 years in my bathtub that I have here in my 1939 Sears Roebuck house. And I did that for 6 years. That was wonderful. I had about 40 people that I've done in that bath. and it was always different, and the experience was always either very funny or wild and crazy or dark and dramatic. It had a whole bunch of different vibes, but it was always fun to create. And in working with so many great, just wonderful people, it really shone just a whole different aspect. I think I could take a whole different 4 series just from that one itself and make it its own thing. So that was very good. My self-portraiture series was really based on me trying to figure out who I was going through past trauma in childhood and working through that part. So I really did want to shine light onto different aspects that happened in just with myself. So
You're listening to Art on the Air on Lakeshore Public Media 89.1 FM, on WVLP 103.1 FM. It's kind of interesting how great trauma or events opens up something in an artist's life.
absolutely. It's therapy. Art is therapy, and it really, and especially for situations like that, it shows, and it brings out probably the most intense, amazing artwork that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I think it's because we when we're grieving for whatever the reason might be, it just opens us up and leaves us more vulnerable, I guess, or just our defenses are down a bit, and this magic comes through so much of the time.
It's a wonderful thing to see. It really is. And to even help other people open up and use their art to help navigate what they have going on as well.
Exactly. So you do a lot of work in series, but as I was looking to see, because you did, I saw something on your Facebook, which shows that you do work outside of these series that you have. So do you have, so I couldn't find any information on that aspect of your photography life, like whether you do individual, you did advertise like the boudoir portraits, but what else do you do, and how can somebody find out what you do?
Yes. So currently it's mainly just for close friends and family. I've been kind of staying clear of actually doing photography for the public, I should say. It's just more of, I really want to focus on the art table right now. I just opened up a little boutique. I'm trying to see where that's going to go. So there's a couple of other things that I'm focusing on, and doing more art classes in the community.
So I guess that brings the question, 2 things. Where are you giving classes? And tell us about the art table, because that's kind of how, I guess, we connected at the South Shore Arts exhibit, salon show, talk and everything. That's where we met. But tell us about the art table and your boutique and things you're doing like that.
Okay. So the art table, we started in May of 2023, and it was a group of artists that said, we are kind of tired of seeing the same stuff going over and over again. So why don't we start meeting up and coming up with different ideas for exhibits, different ideas for getting our names out there. And it kind of just blossomed into this really amazing group of people that started sharing their work and their ideas. And every time that we meet up for the art table, we ask that you bring a piece of your work, that even if you're just working on it, it's something new, you want, critique on it, that we have kind of a little art show every time that we meet up. We try to meet up every 3 weeks, and we try to get together. We talk about each other's shows. We help promote one another. So it's a very engaging group that wants to see everyone succeed in the arts. So our first exhibit was at the substation for South Shore Arts with South Shore Arts. And that was a very successful exhibit. We did interactive painting on a 4 by 8 foot piece of plywood. Over 40 people from the community painted this, and it was amazing just to see everyone going up there and interacting, and people wanted to stay. People wanted to be a part of what was going on. And it really did show that we were bringing something different to the table. We also did one at Promise You Art House, and they said it was wonderful to see fresh people that they've never seen before, just in their community, now going to their place. So we're trying to bring other people into the art scene as well. People from Chicago. We do things in Wisconsin. We just navigated doing stuff in New Buffalo over the summertime, which was fantastic. And I think 2025 is going to be great. We have our next exhibit at Paul Henry's on January 10th. Our opening show is going to feature over 40 artists, 100 pieces hung. We have 3 bands that are playing. We have a stand-up comedian who's that. We have a young author. She's going to be reading from her book, and we have a poetry reader. So, and we have one of our artists who's been a part of the art table since the very beginning, who moved to Puerto Rico. She's flying back in, and she's going to be doing a live mural that evening that's going to be dedicated specifically to Paul Henry's. So it's going to be nice to see that as well. And then we will be having our closing reception is February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day, and that will run from 5 to 7 p.m.
Right, and that exhibit's already running January 10th through then. Yeah. Does the art table, do you have a location, or where do you meet for your meetings and get together?
So currently, right now, we meet at my home. I have a studio. It was an old chicken coop that I turned into a studio that sits in the back of we have a half acre here in Munster. So we usually have a bonfire going, and everyone sets up their work, and it's heated and it's air conditioned, and we do classes sometimes in there, but it's just a place, for us to get together. Now that we've grown, we are looking to find a bigger space that allows all of the people that we now have that are joined in. So
just what did you do in New Buffalo?
Oh, so in New Buffalo, we were doing, it is called Artist Takeover, and all artists could come from all around the Northwest Indiana region to New Buffalo, Chicago, wherever. And you could set up like your artwork, and then we would do a friendly battle. And I would like to say this, and I don't really know if it's even a battle, but we would set up in a circle, and there's usually about 5 to 6 artists. And we have a song, a theme, and the public circles what they want. Each artist draws from the hat, and then you have to paint that. So you have 15 minutes each round. We try and get it done within an hour. So you have 15 minutes, but you circle. I do mine, and then, I move to the right, and then I work on the other people's. And then all together at the very end, we try and make them look as cohesive as possible.
Oh, how fun.
It's an experiment, but it's fun to watch the live part of it all go down and see like what is actually going on. And we're looking at the next artist and going, oh my gosh, I know what song and what name you actually got.
Well, speaking of songs, are you still performing music?
So I actually have not performed in quite a while, probably a few years. I was jamming with a band not too long ago. But as of yesterday, I will be singing one of my original songs that I wrote when I was about 22. And I just sat down with Joe Sakis, who is a member of the art table, and we kind of rewrote it yesterday, and I will be singing it at the opening reception. So that is
That'd be
That's
fantastic.
wonderful.
I'm excited for it. It was nice to kind of hop back in, and I haven't used that muscle in quite a while, so it was nice to have that.
In our last few moments here, Lauren, tell us how people can find out about the art table contact information while we're wrapping it up here.
Yes, absolutely. So we have the biggest platform that we use is our Instagram account, which is the art table _. Or you can find us at the art table on Facebook. We use both the accounts pretty much equally, but there's just a little bit more information with the stories and everything else on the Instagram account itself. We will be having a website coming this spring, and we will be doing membership as of January. That will be something else that we're going to be offering for people.
That's excellent. Well, we appreciate you coming on Art in the Air and sharing about the art table. And you can find information on Instagram and Facebook and soon a website. Lauren Thiel, thank you so much for founding that and coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's so enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
We'd like to thank our guest this week on Art on the Air, our weekly program covering the arts and arts events throughout Northwest Indiana and beyond. Art on the Air is heard Sunday at 7 p.m. on Lakeshore Public Media, 89.1 FM, also streaming live at lakeshorepublicmedia.org, and is available on Lakeshore Public Media's website as a podcast. Art on the Air is also heard Friday at 11 a.m. and Monday at 5 p.m. on WVLP 103.1 FM, streaming live at WVLP.org. If you have a smart speaker like Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, or Apple Siri, just tell to play Art on the Air to hear the latest episode. Our Spotlight interviews are heard every Wednesday on Lakeshore Public Media. Thanks to Tom Maloney, Vice President of Radio Operation for Lakeshore Public Media, and Greg Kovach, WVLP's Station Manager. Our theme music is by Billy Foster with a vocal by Renee Foster. Art on the Air is supported by an Indiana Arts Commission Arts Project grant, South Shore Arts, and the National Endowment for the Arts. We'd like to thank our current underwriters for Lakeshore Public Media, Macaulay Real Estate in Valparaiso, Olga Patrician, Senior Broker. And for WVLP, Walt Breidinger of Paragon Investments. So we may continue to bring you Art in the Air. We rely on you, our listeners and underwriters, for ongoing financial support. If you're looking to support Art on the Air, we have information on our website at breck.com/AOTA, where you can find out how to become a supporter or underwriter of our program in whatever amount you are able. And like I say every week, don't give till it hurts. Give till it feels good. You'll feel so good about supporting Art on the Air. If you're interested in being a guest or send us information about your arts-related event or exhibit, please email us at aota@breck.com. That's aota@breck.com, or contact us through our Facebook page. Your hosts were Larry Breckner and Esther Golden, and we invite you back next week for another episode of Art on the Air.
Aloha, everyone. Have a splendid week.
Express yourself through art and show the world your heart. Express yourself through art and show the world your heart. You're in the know with Esther and Larry. Art on the Air today. Stay in the know with Larry and Esther. Art on the Air our way. Express yourself through art and show the world your heart. Express yourself through art and show the world